Hey guys, what's going on? This is Alex from the Green Up Academy podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode where I have one of my favorite guests I've ever had on the show, Tanner Kenison from Green Space Lawn Care in Waxhaw, North Carolina, which is basically greater Charlotte area for anyone kind of wondering where that's at. Tanner is 27 years old. He's got a multi-million-dollar lawn care business that's practically debt-free, very, very little debt. He and I didn't know this before. We agree on a lot of things when it comes to Dave Ramsey and debt and cash flow and how to find good employees. This conversation is one of my favorites. I think you guys can learn a lot and just have a lot of insight from what Tanner talks about as we discuss business in this episode. Remember, guys, if you're looking to do anything with free learning, we've got just create an account at thegreenupacademy.com. It's all free. And then if you want to get in touch with me, it's alex@thegreenupacademy.com via email. And we look forward to it. Make sure you go leave us a review. Let us know how you like this episode on YouTube or anywhere you listen to your episodes, Spotify, Apple, wherever. And let's jump in. Thanks so much.
Welcome to the Green Up Academy podcast with Alex Kirby, where we focus on helping you level up your green industry business. Whether it's marketing, finance, employees, or strategy, we talk about everything on this show to help you apply it to your business and change your family and company's future for decades to come. Here's your host, Alex Kirby.
So, Tanner, help me. I don't know much about you, so tell me like the origin story of this. You're not very old, right? How old are you?
27.
27. So that's awesome. So how did you get into this? Did your dad, your grandpa, did a random guy from church say you should do this? How long you been doing it?
Yeah. So as a 10-year-old, I'm the oldest of 5 kids, 4 boys and a girl. We always had chore charts growing up. And so by age 10, I was deemed fit to mow the lawn. So my parents started having me mow, and I just really started to like it. I'd ask them if I could have that chore on my chart each week. And I was just running a little push mower. And shortly after, still while I was 10, started mowing the neighbor's lawn. And sorry about the cars going by.
It's all right.
Started mowing the neighbor's property, and it just kind of took off from there. But I was a little kid pulling a red wagon with some combi attachments and a little Honda push mower. So I did a handful of lawns and got a riding mower when I was 12. Then got my first zero turn when I was 14, and really have consistently done it for the last 17 years. I've never had a job or a boss. Didn't go to college. So at 18,
your parents were like, that's cool, go full time. At 18, they were like, don't even worry about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I was full time as soon as I was driving. It was causing me to mess up on grades and whatnot. But, my parents always left college as an option, and I knew it wasn't where I was going to end up. So yeah, I mean, when I was 16, I was mowing 60 lawns a week and had 2 employees, and we weren't incorporated yet. It was still, a DBA business, but it was plenty of money. Kept me really busy.
That's awesome. So fast forward to today, you're 27. You've got how many employees? You're at over 1.5 million in revenue. What's today look like versus 16 years old?
Yeah. So, I mean, my day-to-day is putting out fires, running errands, doing sales, working on the computer. I've got 14 employees, 7 trucks. We are pretty much a 100% maintenance business. So we vastly just mow lawns, do pruning, mulch, spray the chemicals, all the treatments.
Full service? Are you guys full service only, or you do mow, blow, and go?
No, everything is full service. So if we're going to work for you, we got to treat it. We got to, basically sign you on a contract. Everything's a 12-month contract. Yeah. Some of those contracts are built a little differently so that my cash flow is good. I was raised by a financial planner and raised on the Dave Ramsey principles. So I've grown this business almost entirely off cash flow. Awesome. It's a lot safer that way. I think a lot of people kind of jump the gun. They want that fancy truck and those new mowers, but they don't have the cash flow to make it make sense. But they'll give you the loan.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, they'll give you the loan. It's just how steep's the rate. So I'm blessed.
Or it suffocates your cash flow in general. Like, just even if the rate's zero, like we found with Sheffield, which is not really zero if you dig into the numbers, right?
Yeah, the dealer's buying down the rate on that one.
The dealer's buying down the rate, and then the fee in front is the 2 points that they hid in there. Yeah. But even if you can quote unquote afford it, it suffocates your cash flow so bad you can't grow very good.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said about the peace of mind that you have as the owner while you're running this business. You're already subjecting your body and your mind to a lot of stress and a lot of intense things, especially at a young age. So you mix in the stress of money and debt and payments. I mean, it really can ruin a business and ruin your taste for this kind of work. I see it all the time.
Tanner, I don't know if you know this, but I literally say that like all the time. When I talk to people who want to argue debt, I'm like, well, it's funny. The one thing they can't evaluate with debt is the psychology of it, right? Like, there's no measurable in the algorithm for peace of mind, for the decisions you make poorly versus good when you're not in debt. Everyone wants to go, well, it's 0% and I can scale. They want to give you the algorithm type of numbers. And it's like, yeah, but what if you're not sleeping at night? What if you hire a bad person and it ruins your business because you're like, I need the money, right? So,
or, what if it derails your marriage or takes time away from your kids, causes you to spend every Sunday working instead of at church and at home. There's a lot to be said about those things.
Love that, dude. Gosh, so glad we're talking. So, are you pretty much debt free in the company? Where you stand? Like, are you got a little bit? What?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say we have never used debt. In the beginning, it was up to me to, if I was going to secure a loan, it was going to need to be based on my numbers. I didn't have a co-signer or a partner in this business. No starting chunk of money from my parents or anything. So in the beginning, I was forced. The cash flow decision was forced because I had no credit and was not making a lot of money. But today, I've got a mortgage on my commercial property where we run the business. Give me 1 second. Truck's going by.
Your commercial property is sweet. If no one's seen your Green Spaces Lawn Care on Instagram, it's pretty sweet looking.
It's working. I need to buy something else soon, but I've got an acre of B4 zoning in Union County here. That's general business. So I spent a lot of time getting kicked out of rentals year after year, trying to run my business somewhere I wasn't supposed to. But I've got a mortgage that's cut in half from the purchase price. We're knocking that down. And then I got one auto loan and, no revolving credit, no lines of credit,
awesome.
Stuff like that. So I really try and keep it low. I understand it's a tool to be used, but there's guys out there with $500,000 in debt my age, and it's
crazy.
It's insane. They're maxing out their business credit, then they're starting another business and trying to utilize its credit, and then their personal credit and the wife, and they're tangling up everybody just to try and have all this fancy stuff. But the cash flow is like barely there.
Ford Ranger drives as good as a Dodge Ram. It's got 4 tires.
Oh yeah. And I get people asking me all the time, because I do have some of that nice stuff now, but nobody sees the time it took to get there.
Sure.
I get questions all the time. Is this a good deal? Should I go take out a loan on this at 5%? And I don't say yes or no. I just try and give some solid advice, make them think.
Let me ask you a couple specific questions that I think are fascinating. And, I think a little of my story. Sounds like we have very similar stories. We were right around the revenue you were when I sold and everything, and close in age. What are the biggest challenges at your age? Because that's a huge issue in this industry at times, can be age, whether you give someone a quote for $40,000 and they look at you like, are you nuts? Or when you're hiring people who are 40 years old and you're 26, 27, what are the ones that you run into personally that are like challenges because of age specifically? Maybe you feel like there's none, but I feel like there always is a couple.
Well, so I've always, so we only take new business about 3 months out of the year, and almost everything's word of mouth. I don't spend any money to market. I do have a website. I've got logos on the trucks. The guys wear uniforms, but we're not running any ads anywhere. So a lot of times when somebody's reaching out to me, they are direct referral, or they've seen my work. They're a neighbor. They're something. There's a little bit of groundwork there to kind of aid in the fact that I am younger. I got something to back it up with.
Sure.
So I don't seem to have issues with people thinking I'm too young or can't do it. I think more so, and this is probably just a me thing, but it's definitely tough to date and try and find a wife when
it's a great point.
Work like an animal. I've gone through a lot of girlfriends, and honestly, work ruined it. But I wasn't willing to make that sacrifice. And I don't know, the right girl will come along, but that's definitely a factor in this business, is being young, trying to grow, trying to take care of everybody while, maintaining some sort of normal personal life is pretty tough.
Is that now kind of on the horizon, is how to have more of a balanced life so you can take those next life steps?
Yeah. I mean, I had the mentality to grow a lot faster than I'm growing now because, I was just like everybody else. I was hungry and wanted it to be bigger than it needed to be. But, probably 2 years ago, when I realized that, it doesn't have to be this giant franchise, and it doesn't have to be multiple locations right away. Getting in my head that growing slower, 10% a year is great. There's plenty.
Absolutely.
So that's been something good to try and find that balance and realize how valuable that balance is. It's not worth, to me, it's not worth some of the negative downsides of trying to grow real fast.
100%. I'm on year 9. We're about to hit 9 years of being married. My wife and I got married super young. We have 3 small kids, 5, 3, and 1. And definitely one of the big reasons why I sold at the time I did is because I wasn't willing to. So we had to go build a big facility. We're a little bit more employees than you, but about the same revenue. And because I had a couple unique contracts that took a couple more guys.
Yeah.
But I had to go build like a $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 facility. And being a Dave Ramsey guy, I didn't have the cash, nor did I want to spend, right?
Yeah.
And I knew what that would take. Like, I knew if I built this facility, it means I got to do this another 8 years to get my return. And that was the decision I made, was like, it's not worth it. It's already done me well. Now, my non-compete runs out at the end of the year. So I'm probably going to get into a minority investor situation because I still own the brand of Trifecta. That person didn't want to buy it. But
so they just buy the accounts and the equipment and the
So because I was debt free, it was a unique situation. I had all this equipment paid for, so I said you can buy the equipment by itself, you can buy the business with employees and accounts, or you can buy the brand, or hopefully you buy all 3. Right? I was like, you should buy all 3, and he's like, I just want the middle one, and so I made him pay a premium for that if he wanted to buy it separate. I was like, okay, well, it's going to cost a little more. I'll give you a deal if it's the whole thing. So I signed just a short non-compete. So
that's good.
I don't plan to operate one, but I like to, the brand can, with my Google website and everything, it can produce 250 in a year quick if I turned it back on. So I'd like to give it to a young guy and bless him to grow faster, and then kind of just be a minority owner type situation.
Yeah, or set it up as a standalone franchise and, take 8 or 10%, but leave it up to that person to make it work.
Yeah, I actually don't know a ton about franchising. That's like the one area I've never really jumped in. So maybe I'll chat with you offline about that.
Yeah, that's kind of the future of what I see my business turning into. But I want to give my franchise locations to my best employees, and I'm going to foot the bill to set it up, and I'm going to do a lot for them. But I expect somebody to run it like I run it.
Sure.
I really want to get a location on our local lake, like Norman, which driving is from where my shop is now, it's just not worth the drive. But it's another
about
great
45 minutes. You about 45 minutes from Lake Norman?
Yeah, with no traffic.
Okay.
So you know how that gets with trucks and trailers trying to come and go at 7 and 5 every day. You
Yep.
really waste some time driving. So that's an area I've identified that I'd like to have another location. And I think when that time comes, I will just give that franchise startup to who I see fit, one of my best guys, and take a share of it, but really coach them and help us grow that way.
Love that. I definitely want to chat with you about that because I'm on Lake Murray in South Carolina, so it's the exact same as Lake Norman. Very same type of money and size and all that. So
it's a good area.
It's a really good area. Okay, that's great. The dating thing is interesting. You don't hear a lot of people talking about that because it is, man. It's all when you're trying to scale, it's so consuming. Like if it's not one thing, it's another. And if you're not firing somebody, you're doing a sale. If something's not broken that you're going to pick up, it's working till 7 at night to try to figure out how you're going to make up the schedule when two guys quit in the same day. Like it's something all the time.
Yeah. It's really tough, to find somebody that kind of shares my mentality. I was blessed to grow up in a very wealthy area, so the pick of girls is there, but they've never had a job. They went straight from mom and dad at home to college under mom and dad's wing, and it's just a very different lifestyle than how I was raised. And it doesn't even make sense to them. They're like, why are you working so much? Why do you mow lawns? Like,
have you heard of the MRS degree?
Mm-mm.
So a lot of people in my area, if you go to college and you get your MRS degree, which is your Mrs. degree, you just went to college to find a husband.
Yeah.
It's funny, right?
It's definitely a real thing. Hey, and I don't knock them. I'd do the same thing if I was young girl.
You're picking your picks out there. All right, let me ask you this one. Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Jobber. If you guys do not use or have not heard of Jobber, it is the leading CRM in the green industry and really the home and service and trades businesses, period. I mean, they are just incredible for all of your needs for quoting, invoicing, scheduling, routing. I mean, it can do it all, guys. It's really, really important in today's day and age for you to be able to contact your customers. It has a portal for your customers to see requests, ask for requests, approve quotes. So it's just so good to use the CRM, and it's very affordable. They have different plans for different places in your business. So if you guys are looking to try out a CRM and you're sick of doing pen and paper, you might not even be doing pen and paper. You might be on another software that's just not meeting all the needs that you hoped, and you're just kind of making it work. Y'all check out Jobber. We've got 20% off your first 6 months with our link. And also, and you get a free trial for a couple weeks as well. So make sure you guys check out Jobber. Please go and click it. It literally takes no time to just sign up and fiddle around and mess with it. You're loved it. So you guys go check it out and tell me what you think. Thanks, guys. What's something that you see in the industry besides debt that you see and makes you scratch your head? Whether it be like social media, whether it be guys who like, besides debt, because we've already hit that. What's something that you see people doing online or your competitors where you're like, why would they do that?
Man, I hate all of these like guys that are, overnight coaches, business coaches. There's so many of those popping up. They all want to subscribe you to some sort of thing and charge you for their words of wisdom. But 9 times out of 10, they're not very big businesses, not really the most qualified people to be given advice like that. And I think a lot of young, 16, 18, 20-year-olds fall into those and really get steered on the wrong course in some cases. Now, there's certainly good programs out there. Like, I think you guys have some great info to offer, and you guys have structured it like an academy or like a school, which is awesome. But, these one-on-one, like peer-to-peer, pay me $300 a month so I can Zoom call you. I hate that stuff. Yeah. So, there's a couple that, so when I started this, I've been doing a lot of business coaching for like 6 years. So
it was something that I started off as free, and then like you get 40 people asking, and it's like, okay, I've got to charge something for my time.
Yeah.
Then I go, okay, let me hire a couple people and really have a real established thing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it is really frustrating for me. I'd say this is probably in my top 2 as well, because then I get lumped in with the people who are charging $300 an hour who made 80 grand in revenue over their career.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
but
like,
they have a good social media presence. Everybody thinks they're credible.
Yeah.
Which sucks. They look at a follower number and suddenly you're the guy.
That's a great point. I appreciate you saying that, because when I say it, it falls on deaf ears. So I appreciate that. And that is a good message for young guys. Like, I just had the Freeman brothers on my podcast a few weeks ago, and they're about to hit $1 million next year by the age of 18.
Yeah.
And they've done a nice job of not falling into those traps, for sure. So
yeah, and I mean, so much of it is the way that you were brought up. The way you look at money and the way you treat money is a direct correlation with the way your parents looked at money and treated money.
That's a great point.
So, you can get sucked into some bad habits and not even realize it. And you may not even know it till, 5 years down the road. You're like, dang, I really shouldn't have done that. But, you live and you learn. And it's awesome that there's guys young enough that they can make these mistakes and bounce back. Yeah. It's a lot harder for somebody in their 40s to quit their day job and suddenly start a lawn care business when they've got a mortgage and they've got 5 kids and they've got all these bills. The success rate there is so much lower than an 18-year-old kid willing to work. So,
sure, 100%.
Even if you're making mistakes as a young guy, I mean, you are still miles ahead of the crowd.
You've got the runway to make that mistake.
Yeah,
100% agree.
I mean, even if I, started today at 27, you're still in a better position than some of these weekend warriors that are taking it full time. We see that a lot here. It's just lawn care companies everywhere.
Yeah.
They're a dime a dozen, it seems like.
How are you sourcing your talent? Are you hiring a lot of H-2B guys, Latino people? Where are you finding them?
Yeah, so no visa employees. Honestly, every single guy I have came from an employee I currently have that were like, hey, this is a good environment. I want to work with my friends. Let me see if Tanner will hire you. And almost all of them started with no experience, which is what I look for. I don't want you to have any prior knowledge, because a lot of it's probably wrong. Right. And I got to break your habits. So, I'd rather spend 3 months teaching somebody that all their experience is welding or carpentry or construction or roofing. They have the work ethic, but they may not have the skill.
Yeah.
And that's how you really model an employee that's going to meet the needs of these high-end clients and, work well with others, have a good future set up for them. So that's what I mainly look for, is lack of experience, but the work ethic.
I can't wait for people to hear you say, I look for lack of experience. That's going to be No, I agree 100%, because, we've all heard the guy who says he's been doing this 10 years and the first week he's on the job, he's like, well, that's not how you're supposed to do this, or that's not how we do it here, or I only run Toros, you only have rights. Like, gosh, the laundry list of comments.
I don't want to deal with any of that. And, it also gives that employee a much longer runway for growth. They're starting from scratch. So, you can, like, I've had guys leave the restaurant industry making 12 an hour. They come in at 17 an hour, and they've got room to grow another $10 an hour over, the next few years, all based on their performance and their skill. So I think it gives them more to look forward to, because these experienced guys want to come in at 20, 21, 22.
Right.
They may not be worth it. That's just what they've been getting paid. So you get lumped into their previous salary and just sticky.
So a couple more questions, Tanner, then we'll let you go. Who did you look up to while you did this? Was there like a guy on YouTube, a mentor? Was your dad a big mentor to you? Like, did you figure all this out on your own based on just trial and error? So,
my dad has definitely been my biggest mentor, and it's kind of a hack for me because he's a financial planner and owns a tax business. He's been an entrepreneur almost his whole life. So I remember being 6 years old and the IRS coming in and auditing him, and just, watching Squawk Box in the morning on CNBC, getting ready for school, and, watching Mad Money with Kramer and Dave Ramsey, American Greed. So I was raised in a house where there was just constantly, being aware of money, being aware of this is expensive. This is not free. And that was a huge value. And then as I grew up, being able to have somebody to ask questions about payroll and taxes and, having just an endless resource like that is really invaluable. I mean, that has been my biggest advantage, I think. And they, my parents never gave me any startup money. I've never invested. They're not a partner or anything. I pay my dad for his services to bookkeep and do my taxes just like any of his other customers. But awesome. I think that was huge. But in the lawn care world, when I was getting started, I really didn't know. Give me 1 second. I really didn't know anybody else in the industry until I was probably 18 or 19. And even at that point, I met some guys that really gave me some bad advice. And looking back now, they either aren't around anymore or they're still in the same position they were 10 years ago.
Right.
So I tried to stray away from other lawn care guys in the area until I really figured it out on my own.
Yeah.
And I think that's what set us aside, because I've really tapped into some things that are just not common.
Sure. I totally agree. I had a unique situation, though. I was at a church where two guys were about to retire from multi-million-dollar lawn care companies. One guy had started one and sold one already, and then he built another $1 million one and was about to sell it. And then another guy was looking to retire. So they were like, great advice, didn't care because they were about to be done.
Yeah.
And so I got very good advice within 3 months of starting because they had nothing to lose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
guys like that are awesome. I wish I could have met some people like that when I was getting started, but I'm glad to have learned the way I did.
Sure. You wouldn't have changed anything. Let me ask you one more question before we wrap up. What's something cutting edge you're considering for your company? Are you considering autonomous mowers, electric everything? I'd love to hear if you're considering something cutting edge.
No, definitely not wanting to jump on the electric bandwagon. I've demoed a lot of that stuff. The power and the longevity is just not there yet. I have ran some of the autonomous stuff. We have some accounts where it would make sense, but I would just worry too much about the liability at this point.
Yeah.
No matter how much they swear that thing can see, I just worry about it hurting somebody. And, an accident like that could easily max out a big insurance policy and then bankrupt you, cause you to get sued. So in those two realms, I'm not eager to jump on the bandwagon for autonomous or electric. But, in terms of cutting edge, I really just try and stay with the new equipment, constantly looking to replace stuff. Every 2 years, we're trying to upgrade and swap out mowers and trimmers and whatnot.
What CRM do you use?
We're using Field Routes, which is a Service Titan program, and it was modeled after, they're traditionally a pest control software.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, and they've done a spin-off for lawn care, and they I actually think if you reach out to them right now, they're not accepting new lawn care clients because they're really trying to dial that software in. And we've done a lot of kind of beta testing work for them, telling them, here's what's wrong, here's what's working.
Yeah.
I really like the software because I was coming from paper and pencil, Apple Calendar, invoicing manually on QuickBooks. So it's been huge to have a CRM involved. But for anybody looking for one, I don't think you can onboard with Field Routes right now for lawn care. They're still trying to dial it in. But we really like it.
I'm familiar. I met them at Equip one year. I'm always, when I go to Equip, are you going to be at Equip? Do you ever go?
Yeah, I take my RV down every year, so I'll be staying there pretty much the whole week.
Your RV down? Well, you're going to have to come, we're going to get a spot. You'll have to come hang out with us Tuesday night.
Yeah, I bring the camper every year. I've gone the last...
you park there in the parking lot?
No, I don't do the infield stuff. I get an RV site, so I've got the hookups for water, sewer, and electric.
I need to do that. I need to rent I'm probably going to buy a camper soon because I've been wanting one. I have a big barn that has the doors and everything.
Yeah.
But
they're sweet, man.
yeah, gosh, I want one. RV. That sounds sick.
I grew up camping and, got my Eagle Scout when I was a teenager. I did a lot
you feel like an Eagle Scout guy.
Yeah, that was a good foundation for me. It taught me a lot.
That's awesome.
People want to knock Scouts, but that was something good for me and my brothers. We all did it.
Everybody I know who took Scouts at what it was supposed to be is awesome people. Like producer Mac Logan's an Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
One of our employees who just went to another job was an Eagle Scout. Like he was awesome. So, all right, Tanner, let me ask you one more question, man. This has been awesome. If there's someone listening to this who's struggling, okay, so a lot of people who listen to our show, as you know, they're working 60 hours and barely making a profit and they're really struggling. What's something you would tell them to help them kind of right the ship?
Yeah. Well, man, I was there too. I mean, there were times when I had 4 or 5 employees and it's Thursday night and there's $700 in the bank and I got $4,000 in payroll rolling out in the morning. Just, immense amounts of stress, but it was because I chose to do that cash flow route. I still wouldn't trade it. I think really managing your money, watching your finances is going to give you a huge advantage. But, I think my biggest quality, something that's really helped me stand out is just resilience. Getting knocked down over and over and knowing that, you get to try again and knowing that there's people even in this country, definitely outside of the US that will never see the opportunity we get to see. Just the fact that somebody can be 18 and be their own boss. I mean, that's just huge. And I think a lot of people take that for granted. So even though it may feel tough and you might be discouraged and you just keep getting beat down, you're still ahead of 90% of the world. I mean, there's just a lot to be said about America, and I think we're blessed to be here.
I agree, man. Dude, I love this. Thank you so much for hopping on while you're working at Site 1, trucks going by. I love that. That's the part of I love that. On the tailgate.
Sitting in the bed of the truck.
Tailgate talk, baby. Tailgate talk.
I'm sorry for all the background noise. There's a lot of trucks going back and forth.
Dude, seriously, do not worry about it. I think it's awesome. Tanner, where can people connect with you? You have a pretty active Instagram. Shout out where people can connect with you.
Yeah, Instagram, just look for Green Space Lawn Care. And I've got a good website if you want to go and read about all the things that we offer and our service area, my story. We also did a video with Wright Mowers that's on their YouTube page if you want to hear kind of a more in-depth video of how I got started and why we choose those mowers. I will plug Wright Mowers any day of the week. They really are awesome. But yeah, if you want to reach out to me, you got questions, I'm happy to give anybody advice or listen to your problems for free. So just reach out on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you, Tanner. We'll see you next time, buddy.
Thank you. See ya.
Guys, we are officially launching our rebrand from Pure Marketing Agency to Backbone Creative here at the beginning of June. And we are a full-service agency focused on blue-collar and what we call backbone businesses that are the backbone of their industries, communities, and their employees. So if you are looking for a website, if you've been holding on and maybe renting your website, paying a monthly fee, and if you don't pay it, then they take it away. We've got website packages. We've got full-service marketing packages that come with social media management, Google Ads management, reviews, email marketing, you name it. We do it all to help you do one thing. That's grow your business, get more customers, grow your profits and revenue, and tell your story to more people. So make sure you hit us up. Literally free quote, free audits of your websites, all that stuff. We're not pressuring you to do anything, but we know where our results come from, and they're really, really strong. So make sure you hit us up. Backbone Creative, guys. You can hit us up through Instagram, website. It's going to be launching in a couple weeks. So you can email me at alex@backbonecreativecode.com. That'd be the best place. Or currently, you can keep using our current website. But you're going to like the new rebrand, I hope, and can't wait to show you guys. Thanks.